G'day there guys, the elephant in the room here, back at it again with another episode of r/am I the a-hole. Now if you think I'm the a-hole today, tell me down in the comments, chuck a like on the video, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Thank you. Posted by user, Am I the a-hole disease cheater? Titled, Am I the a-hole for not paying my girlfriend's surgery and instead paying my sister's tuition? Basically, my girlfriend who is 22, of 2 years, was scheduled to undergo a knee replacement surgery next month. I decided to pay for it. The surgery is kinda necessary. She is having trouble walking, and if not done in the next 6 to 8 months, she could risk walking with crutches for the rest of her life, as the success rate of the surgery will go down rather quickly if postponed. Well, guess what? I found out a month ago that she cheated on me last year. Not long term, but a one-night stand, which is still as horrible in my opinion. This changed everything. Although I decided not to break up for now. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on her, and as I have already decided I won't be spending it on myself, I decided to give it to my sister to pay for her tuition without telling my girlfriend. She knew last week, and she has been crying and screaming ever since that I screwed her life up, as she will be disabled for the rest of her life. No health insurance, and she will never be able to save that kind of money within the frame of a year. I'm not going to change my mind, but I was wondering, am I an a-hole in your opinion? Whew, boy, yeah, but she's an a-hole too. Cheating is inexcusable, but damn, you have really put someone between a rock and a gun in this instance. This is so much further than just a rock and a hard place, dear lord. I don't really have words for this. This is terrible all around. You're terrible for not paying for her surgery, but she's terrible for cheating. I understand why you don't want to pay, but dear lord, you're going to make someone disabled for the rest of their life? This is like that moral question where do you pull the lever and let one person die, or you don't touch it and 4 people die? I don't have an answer for this one. Everyone sucks here. It's fair enough to not want to pay for her surgery, but you really should break up with her. There is no way to sustain a relationship with you resenting her for cheating and her resenting you because she may be disabled for the rest of her life. This so much. Well, we can be together, but I will just sit here and see how you get disabled for the rest of your life. That will show you, see? You don't have to cheat on me or you go through this. Ha 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 ha! Everyone sucks here. She's cheated, that's bad, I agree. But you should have the balls to confront her and tell her directly that you would not pay, rather than wait for her to discover it at the last minute. Everyone sucks here. Cheating is awful, so she's clearly an a-hole, and obviously you are not obligated to pay for anyone's surgery, but I think you know to promise something as big as funds for a necessary medical procedure, and then suddenly withdrawing it is a-hole behavior. Also, if you are still salty about her cheating, leave her. Don't tell her you want to stay together and then punish her. What do you guys think about this one? Is he the a-hole? Is he not? There's a lot of people saying not the a-hole because it's his money and he can do what he wants with it. Interesting choices. Posted by user Yana Petra, titled, Am I the a-hole for wanting my husband to cut off his parents after they announced my pregnancy on social media without permission? My husband and I, both 27, have been trying for a baby for over 5 years now. It's been a traumatic journey, and over the course of the past few years, I've had 7 miscarriages and 1 stillbirth. In April, I found out I was 7 weeks pregnant, but obviously didn't want to announce it to anybody, including my family, until I was through the first trimester. We've been through the premature excitement before, and I wouldn't be able to handle it again. My husband, without telling me, told his parents about my pregnancy when he was visiting them about 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant. As I said, he didn't tell me, and assured me when he was home that his parents had no idea. Yesterday, I woke up to my husband on the phone to his sister, which was bizarre as it was 8 a.m. and he and his sister aren't that close. He gave the phone to me as she wanted to talk to me, and she basically screeched, telling me she was so excited I was pregnant. I was confused and asked if my husband had just told her. She said no, and that her father had posted the night before about it on Facebook. I checked and was absolutely outraged by his post. It said something along the lines of, I'm happy to announce the pregnancy of my son and his wife. Hopefully this one will stick. June, November 2020. Oh, that's terrible. I was in complete disbelief, as not only is that extremely insensitive, I had no clue how he had found out. How can you just go on Facebook and say, hope this one will stick? Dear Lord, how are people this stupid? My husband told me the truth and apologized, but explained they were his parents and he had a right to tell them. I told him that the only thing he had a right to do was frick off and respect my choices when it comes to my body and my trauma. We got in a huge argument, which resulted in me telling him I want absolutely no part in his side of the family anymore, and that I want him to cut them off. He told them, and they're outraged with me, saying I'm overly sensitive and disrespectful, and my husband is refusing to apologize or even recognize that I'm hurt. Am I the a-hole? I would say this is a big cause for concern. This is a lot of alarm bells going off. I wonder if there were events preceding this that led to such a reaction as now. Because I don't think it's often that things are going normally and then, you make your views that you've shared with your husband privately for such a long time, like you put them down because you're like, yo, you've crossed a boundary, and he's like, you know what, screw everything, I'm not listening to you anymore, I don't care about your trauma, you're too sensitive. Doesn't seem like normal behavior to me. I'm gonna go with OP is not the a-hole. I don't care that OP's actions are abrupt. I don't care that they are very wild right now. Would you not go wild if you were her and have your trust broken by your own husband and have her family attack you and intrude on your life like that? Their actions cross a line. His actions cross a line. Although I do think that asking the husband to cut off his entire family over this is a bit overstepping it, I would tweak that and say, you need to limit contact until this thing blows over, and in marriages and relationships, there should always be room for that compromise. OP not the a-hole. Everyone sucks here. They screwed up big, but asking your husband to cut off his entire family over it is not reasonable. Especially since it sounds like he didn't discourage it at all. Your real problem is your husband's dishonesty and complete lack of respect for you. He not only went against your wishes, but lied to you about it. Why are you focusing on his family and not him? Yes, your husband is the a-hole in this whole situation since he disrespected your wishes and then flat out lied to you about it. He is the problem here. Exactly. I'm not saying you shouldn't be ticked as hell, or that your in-laws hope it will stick comment wasn't insensitive as hell, but your ultimatum was way off. But your husband does need to recognize that he was way out of bounds, that he should put you first and respect your wishes, especially when you've been through such a difficult time. Plus, he lied and dismissed you like your feelings are totally irrelevant. Honestly, you might want to take a time out and go to a hotel for a few days and just get a chance to calm down and think about what you feel and how you want to go forward. I'm guessing that she is asking for this not because of this one issue, but because of a long line of his family acting like this. I don't think you have an in-law problem, I think you have a husband problem. I will say, father-in-law is also a bit of a problem. Hopefully this one will stick, like screw all the way off. I gasped when I got to that. What the absolute hell? This man's got really downvoted for this one. Not everyone deals with trauma the same way. Joking could be a coping mechanism. It's not his fudging trauma to joke about on social media. Again, not everyone is the same. Is it possible he didn't know he could joke this way with her? You don't always know someone's intent, especially on the internet. I'm sorry, but it's always inappropriate to joke about a death, let alone a baby's death. Like, what the hell was he thinking? What kind of crack is he on? Oof, that man's justifies it in the next comment, not going to show it. Basically, he had 6 miscarriages with his wife, but it's different because they were joking about it because it was between them. It wasn't someone else's baby. That's where the line crosses here, buddy. Learn your place. Posted by user Quarantine Earbud. Titled, Am I the a-hole? I won't give my parents all of the inheritance as my gran took them out of the will. For context, my father's side of the family is very small. There is only him, his mum, and his sister who is married, but without kids. I, male 25, am an only child. My granddad was a very successful civil engineer and bought 10 residential properties to provide a retirement income. Before he died, both him and my grandma wrote a will that gave my aunt 5 of the properties and my dad the other 5. The remaining money was to be split 50-50 up to a certain threshold, and the remainder donated to cancer research, as my granddad's brother and mum both died of that whilst young. Now, around 12 months ago, it was clear that my grandma really wasn't fit to drive. Her reactions were terrible, her eyesight was going, and was repeatedly having minor incidents. As it was her final marker of independence, she flat out refused to stop or visit a doctor for a third opinion. Anyway, the final straw was when my dad went to visit, and there was a huge dent in the rear bumper where she had reversed into yet another bollard. After having warned her previously, he decided to take her keys away and leave a letter fully explaining why he did that. When my gran found the letter, she went absolutely ballistic, and after lots of arguing, threatened to write my dad out of the will unless he gave them back. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, because on one hand she really shouldn't be driving, but on the other, it is still technically legal, and as an individual, she should still have the opportunity to exercise her free will and go driving. Anyway, my dad refused to give them back out of principle, saying it is a danger to others, and criticized her for trying to manipulate him with inheritance and said he didn't need the money anyway. My dad kept hold of the keys, and nothing much was really said after that. It was all kind of brushed under the carpet, Gran took taxis, and whilst there was a bit of tension when we met up, nothing much more was said. Anyway, unfortunately my Gran passed away, and I'm informed by the executor of her will that I was getting all half of her estate instead of my dad. No one really expected her to go through with it. After thinking a lot, and as a gesture of goodwill, I offered my parents half, as that's what Granddad wanted, and kept the other half, as that's what Gran wanted. Parents and Dad still accused me of accepting money that wasn't mine, and that I should give it to them, as Gran wasn't in a sane mind. I didn't budge, and said I'd rescind my offer should they hire the lawyer they were threatening to. I was given a lecture on how I'm too young to have this amount of money, and that I will have no incentive to be a productive member of society. Then even said he would write me out of his will, which is exactly the same as what he criticized my Gran for. Parents are now flat out refusing to speak to me at the moment, other than through their lawyer, and have basically disowned me as no son of theirs could act like this. Want to make up, but feel I've been pretty fair. I'm gonna go with everyone sucks here in this situation. I just recorded a whole minute and a half of backing up my reasoning for that before, but I read some comments and I'm like, damn, I'm stupid. I'm just gonna say, yeah, everyone sucks here. Everyone's logic is defeating itself. I like that the dad stopped the grandma from driving. I really like that one. This situation is just a test of which hill am I gonna die on. Everyone sucks here. You're an a-hole for refusing to acknowledge that the reason your grandma left you that money is because your dad did the right thing to protect her, the public, and that inheritance you care so much about. If she'd killed someone, you can bet there'd be a hefty lawsuit, and she got mad. Your dad is an a-hole for threatening to sue you over money he said himself he doesn't need. To be frank, but don't call me Shirley, your statement that, as an individual, she should still have the opportunity to exercise her free will and go driving, after you yourself acknowledged she was no longer fit to drive, is an a-hole comment in itself because it indicates complete disregard for the safety and rights of others. My opinion of that is, at least he left it in so we can see his true feelings about it. He had the opportunity to edit that out and paint himself in a better light, but I'd say it's good that that was unedited because we can see the human aspect. People make mistakes, people have stupid opinions. Your dad probably should have tried to have the state step in instead of taking them himself, but free will is not unlimited and neither are driving privileges. I disagree that the dad sucks. I mean, I don't see any reason to get the state involved when he had it handled pretty easily. Opie needs to be a little smarter than he is. I mean, it seems like this would be a pretty straightforward case of the parents being able to prove that grandma was not of sound mind, so they are going to waste legal fees and pee off their family over something they know is true. You're the a-hole, and be smart enough not to pee off your family. There's nothing that indicates she wasn't of sound mind. Diminished vision, spatial perception, and reflexes are the primary age-related reasons a person is unfit to drive, and don't indicate cognitive deficiencies. Pettiness and revenge are perfectly valid and legal reasons to alter your will, and also don't indicate cognitive deficiencies. I'm not saying she wasn't experiencing issues, but we've been given no information, which makes that a foregone conclusion. I'm often asked to perform cognitive and vision assessments to determine if a person is of sound mind or not. Just because someone demonstrates visual perception deficits doesn't mean they have deficits in cognition or executive functions. You'd be surprised how often a visual deficit is mistaken for cognition deficits. Alright, this is starting to hurt my head, but some of you guys might want to hear this. I wonder if she refused to stop driving, even to the possible detriment of others. Would it be a sign of cause-effect realization failure? It's pretty common for seniors to be incredibly reluctant at giving up their last grasp at independence. To OP's grandmother, driving was hers. It's not a sign of mental degradation, but perhaps a sign of either desperation and a bit or a lot of selfishness. Nut Michelle reckons, "You're the a-hole. So your father did what was necessary to keep your grandmother safe and everyone else on the road safe, and you decided you feel okay capitalizing on your grandmother's poorly placed anger? Your grandmother was vindictive, and you're an opportunistic a-hole. Your grandfather didn't want you to have that half of that money, and truth be told, it doesn't sound like your grandmother did either. She was trying to manipulate your father." Here's the thing though, Grandma had total control of her estate, which includes whatever Grandpa left behind. It is entirely within her rights to change what goes where. A last will and testament is exactly that. Whatever Grandma had written up and notarized is what goes at the end of the day. Tough crap if that upsets people. Everyone involved knew what was up. Dad even said, "I don't need your money, so why is he upset?" That's all true, but this is not a legal discussion. Sure, whatever in the will is legally binding and a right as such, but it is also legally an option to choose not to follow the will. By following the will, OP either agrees with the reasoning of the will or he agrees that the will is unreasonable, but chooses to ignore that to benefit himself. In this case, it seems like OP mostly agrees with his father's decision to limit her driving, but the money matters more to him, so he doesn't care. That's what makes it immoral in my opinion. Posted by user Secret Room Help, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend to throw away his shrine to his exes or I'm done?" Hi everyone. I never thought I'd be posting anything like this, but here we are. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but I really need some advice and think the backstory is important. I, 25 female, met my boyfriend, 28 male, on a popular dating app 3 months ago. We had a few formal Skype dates, and this quickly turned into FaceTiming each other for hours every day. I got laid off my job, due to the current events, and he works from home. So we had a lot of time to get to know each other. We fell hard for each other. Fast forward to about 2 weeks ago. I moved in with him. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but my lease was up, and with everything going on, I still don't have a job. It just made sense. Everything seemed amazing. Honestly, it felt like a dream come true. He works in the second bedroom that he uses as an office. I thought it would be nice to surprise him and make him lunch, since I had nothing better to do. So I tried bringing him lunch, but his office door was locked. I knocked, he opened the door and took the plate from me. He thanked me, but he seemed a little annoyed, and was quick to shut the door again. I brushed this off and figured he was busy. Over the next week and a half, I noticed that door is always locked. I started noticing him going into his office late at night for about 5 to 10 minutes each night. This really got my curiosity going, and I decided I was going to get into that room somehow. So last night, I waited until he thought I was asleep, and sure enough, he got up and went into his office. I crept out of bed and opened the office door, and he was sitting at his desk with an open storage bin on the floor next to him. He jumped up and threw the lid on the box and started yelling at me, asking what I was doing in there. This caught me off guard, but I demanded to know what was in the box. After some arguing, he finally opened the box. There were notes, keepsakes, photos, and female clothing. Nothing lewd. I was shocked and asked why he had this stuff. He said he knew I wouldn't understand, and they were just nice memories from his past relationships. He said he was totally over them romantically, and just because he wants to keep the memories doesn't mean he wants to be with those women, and that he only wants to be with me. I absolutely lost it, said that he was being creepy, and said that either he gets rid of this stuff or I was done. He said I'm an a-hole for giving him an ultimatum, calling him names, and shaming him for having emotions. I understand having a keepsake or two, but an entire box? It seems a little over the top to me, but maybe my reaction was a little harsh. Today has been really awkward. Neither of us have apologized or talked about it yet. Reddit, am I the a-hole for giving him an ultimatum? Yeah, I would say both of you are an a-hole for your reactions in this situation. This seems like a very weird, very out of left field kind of situation. I don't understand why he keeps so many memories, but each to their own in this situation. I've got nothing else to say about that. Everyone sucks here. I don't know what to say. Here, duck gives me a good reason why. Everyone sucks, and here is why. As others have mentioned, you moved in after barely knowing someone. You both sounded really desperate and set up no boundaries or barriers, so you're both to blame. You moved in out of desperation and he allowed it, so you're both to blame. That is never right. That is a huge stress on a relationship. And while some can handle it, it's typical to end poorly. While I can admit that it is a bit odd that he has those things, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, so you're to blame. Maybe one of his early significant others died while they were together, and he decided to be sure to make memories tangible. I don't know, so I'm not going to judge the guy. I'm just saying it's not inherently a-hole behavior. You were definitely an a-hole for making a fight and an ultimatum that sounds like it could easily have been discussed over tea while sitting together on the couch. That's fair. I do feel bad about starting a fight over it. I'll clarify that he hasn't had a significant other pass away, and I do understand keeping some things like notes, concert tickets, things like that. What throws me off is the clothing, and looking through it seemingly regularly. I'm going to talk to him calmly when he gets home later. What throws me off is the fact he goes through it every night. It's one thing to have a box of keepsakes from your life you go through every now and then, but a box dedicated to your ex that you've got a daily ritual of visiting? You're going to have to talk about that. It's super strange to go through it in the middle of the night. I may be into a lot of true crime, but my vote is he's a serial killer. Oh my god. When's Shane Dawson putting a documentary up on this? People saying you're the a-hole because he's allowed to be sentimental and have memories of the past? Are you not realizing he takes it out every day to look at? Or is it just me that thinks that's odd and creepy? Exactly why I made this post. Now I'm even more confused reading the comments. Having the box is okay. Looking through it every night is weird. I'd verify if that's what he's doing every night. It's what you caught him doing one night. Maybe he does all the embarrassing things there. He could be stuffing his face with Oreos, watching clown porn, or any number of things he prefers you not to see. I think you guys should have a serious talk. He could be looking at the box all the time, which is pretty concerning. But maybe he feels the need for his own space, which wouldn't be too concerning. But ultimately, you need to know what's going on and if it's something you can be okay with. Having the box is still fudging weird, bro. Unless one of them died or one of them was married to you for 20 years and had kids with you, it's fudging weird to keep a box of keepsakes and clothes and memories of your exes. No sane person is going to be happy with that as your significant other. I'll admit it struck me as super weird, but without the backstory of it, I wasn't sure if I was missing something. I get having old concert tickets, maybe some photos from places you've been that include exes, so you don't want to display them, but at the same time, you don't want to toss them because they're of a cool place. But the clothes is where I was pretty lost. I mean, I'd be asking about that. Not the a-hole. If you found the box lying around in storage, I'd say you were maybe overreacting. But why the hell is he hiding it from you and opening it seemingly every night? That is so weird. I'd give him one of your socks to add to his collection and get the hell out of there. Alright, so that I'm not completely repeating the same points over and over, I think I'm going to end the episode there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one today. I hope you had a good night, sleep, day, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Say hi to outro Markee. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one today. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love you to subscribe because I love your face and I love seeing you here every single day that you are here in this video. I don't know what else to say today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. I do have a second channel that's called Markee2. Link should be up on the screen somewhere here if you don't have adblock installed. If you don't know where to find the channel, you can go to my main page. Just click on the Markee face and it should be on the right, somewhere there, or on channels if you're on phone. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.